how are you? Steve Brown with the Brown team, and usually I'm the one that's showing the buyers, and just over time I've noticed things when I'm looking, things that turn buyers off, or things maybe you're like, oh, maybe that seller shouldn't have done that. And there's some things what not to do to your home when you're getting ready to sell it, because buyers do look at things. So I want to go over a few of those things. The big one is, let's say you're planting a tree. Those trees, when they're too close to the house, let's say you're in that home for 20 years. You know what? It's going to become a big tree. And big trees, they hang over the house. Big trees, their roots go out. And if it's close to your foundation, it could cause problems. If it's close to the line that's going out to the main, that plumbing, it could cause problems. We've seen it. And it's just a big headache. So when you're planting a tree, just be mindful of where you plant the trees. Because I'm telling you, when they become big trees, it does matter. And if you moved into your home and you've lived in your home for 10 years and there's already a tree that was close to your house and you had nothing to do with it, then it's not your fault. And me and my wife, when we sold our home here in Blue Springs and we moved to the home we're in now, we actually cut down 3 trees in our front yard because I knew that was probably going to be an issue. But when we did that, it opened up the front lawn and looked great. So sometimes you might even have to chop down a tree if it needs to be chopped down if you're selling your home. So trees too close to the house can be a real negative for buyers. Not always, but it can be. So when I'm showing homes, painting over wallpaper, that is something that I have seen, and I think there's a way maybe you can do it and it looks good, but usually when I see that, it's very noticeable that somebody painted over the wallpaper and they should have just took the wallpaper off. It's better just to remove that wallpaper. If you gotta pay somebody to do it, don't paint over it, because when a buyer buys that home, that's something they're going to have to do, and that could weigh into them buying that home. If they got to do all that extra work, just take it off. Don't paint over it. Don't do that. Painting over vinyl. I have seen that one time. I went to a house and it was vinyl siding and somebody had painted it blue. Did a really bad paint job, by the way. But you don't paint vinyl siding. Now metal siding, aluminum siding, you can paint over that. But vinyl siding, you can't. And it just didn't look good. It looked bad. You just don't want to do that. Speaking of painting, whenever I've shown a home, and we call it DIY, do it yourself, I've seen some good stuff, but I've seen some really bad stuff too. And when it comes to painting, if you can't do it yourself and you're not very good at it and you just know that's not you, get somebody else to do it. If you gotta pay somebody to do it, or maybe get a family member to do it who's really good at painting, likes painting, and buy them a pizza or something, I don't know. But don't you do it, because when you go out and show a house and you see that sloppy painting on the trim, just bleeding down on the wall, not a smooth stroke, you see things in the paint, it just looks bad. So especially when you're trying to get your house ready to sell, I recommend somebody doing it for you. But sloppy painting, it will bite you in the hiney if you're trying to sell that house and you're trying to get the most for your house. If you're not good at it, don't do it. And then don't put flooring on countertops. That's one I see. That means you have what should be tile that's on the floor. Somehow they said, you know what, let's put that tile that's on the floor that we walk on, let's take that, and I got a great idea. Let's put it on the countertop and have grout up there and everything, and we'll make it look like the floor is on the countertop. Now you may like that, good for you. But me, I think it's dumb. I think it's ugly. And in the grout, you gotta like clean in between all that. It's just, nah. Maybe once upon a time, it was the cool thing, like wallpaper. It's not the cool thing anymore. And it's a lot of work. So don't make it look like your floor is on the countertop. It just looks terrible. As soon as I go in the house and see that, usually the response I get from buyers I'm showing is like, ew, I don't like that. We'd have to change that. Now, if the rest of the house is cool looking and looks great, and it's just a small part of the house they gotta change, it's not a big deal. But if they got to change a lot about the house and then the countertops are looking like that, might be the piece that says, no, let's keep looking. Granite is pretty cheap now. And they got other kinds of countertops that are cheap that look great. So go that route. So incomplete projects, I saw one recently. I went out showing, and again, this DIY stuff, and it was like some things were done but not done very well, and some things were just left totally undone, and then they're trying to sell the house for top dollar. If a buyer's got to come in there and finish things, they're going to be thinking about how much less they need to offer on that house to go in there and make it right. And then if you didn't do the DIY right and you did a bad job, or somebody else did a bad job, I'm just being real with you here, the buyer's going to be like, I got to redo this, and I gotta finish this. So don't leave undone projects, especially in main areas. You're talking about the bathrooms, you're talking about the kitchens, places that are the hot spots in the house. You wanna make sure you get those done well. It don't have to be top end, but just don't leave it undone. Things like that, just that I noticed when I'm going out there. I guess the biggest thing I want not to do to your home is those DIY projects. Just make sure if you're gonna do it, you do a good job when it comes to painting, when it comes to making sure things measure up right, if things fit right, and all that stuff. And if you can't do it, just admit it. Just say, I can't do this, I'm not good at it, I'm gonna get somebody else to do it, because the money you spend on your house, if you spend 20 bucks to get something done, but you make $100 because it's done right, then you made money by spending money. Just remember that. Well, that's what I got. I'm sure there's more, but them are some main things. Do it right, because when it comes to selling your home, you're gonna get the most for it. And that's it. You have a great day.